Hello and welcome to DM Talks, where today we're going to talk about talent in chess. What is a chess talent? Can you actually foresee who will become world class? And how do you get the most out of your talent in chess to take it to the highest level you can achieve as a player? Of course, some players you can see are obvious talents. The two players we see today, Gukesh and Sadhwani, are obviously very, very strong. Gukesh is already in the top 20 in the world. So it's clear that he's not just a talent, he's a very strong player. But what is it that makes a great talent? Will he keep improving? That is actually the key. The thing is, to have sense for chess, good tactical vision or positional sense and so on is not enough. If you're somehow plateau at some point and are unable to break out of it, you will not reach your full potential, as they would say in Ninjago. So how do you see that? Well, first of all, watching and see that they keep on running into obstacles, then they improve, then they get better, almost by magically by themselves, is very important for the thing. Just but then, of course, also the other things where you can just sense the energy, the chess sense going into the game, which is clear. But the most important thing for being a chess talent is to keep improving, not plateauing for too long, keep the momentum going, because it's not very easy to foresee how good you can actually become. And suddenly, when you become very, very strong, grandmaster or like a Gukesh on Sadhwani, it begins to look like magic. But of course, they laid all the foundations along the way. They one stone at a time. Let's get into the game and see a little bit about how talents play. And this is a nice game. It's a 3 + 1 minute game, so it was on the instincts. And this is of course the thing you get to when you become a very strong player. Your chess comes from the unconscious competence level. That is, most of the moves Gukesh and Sadhwani make in this game is pure instinct. It's something they don't think about. Of course, the opening is easy because they've seen it all before a million times. This is the King's Indian, dynamic chess opening. Interesting. A lot of new ideas seem to come out at the moment. White gets a space advantage. Black's position has some secret hidden potential and some chances for some sort of a counterplay, and it's very compact, so there are some dynamic possibilities. This is the main line, classical variation with bishop e2, e5, castle, and here the main move is knight c6, attacking the center. This is known as the Martel Plata variation. Another line is the classical one with knight b7, and there's also knight a6. And then apparently there is also h6. Interesting move, taking away this square, and in a lot of lines preparing this move, followed by either knight e5 or f5. So h6 is interesting. Rook e1 is one setup. Of course, bishop e3 makes no sense now because knight d4, there's no bishop d5. So in this situation, something like this looks really ridiculous after knight d4, and you have to go back, and you're already worse. So it's maybe black can even play f5. I'm not sure, but probably not. But definitely, this is not what you really want as white. So rook e1 makes sense. You could also make an argument for closing the center or something like that, or maybe queen c2. Knight b d7, bishop f1, overprotecting this pawn. And here a move I played in blitz is knight h7. Simply this move with the idea to go to d5 and some point play f5 and get the counter attack on the king side. Notice at something like this, then black is already in a good spot with good attacking chances on the king side. There's no often a very annoying thing with it is a knight here, but at this moment is not possible with this. Anyway, this is not what he did. He did a very strange move, b6. This is something they have started to do a little bit in the King's Indian. It looks really weird, to be honest. I don't know if the idea is to play bishop b7, but anyway, it's not clear how white is going to continue. He took the very logical step of closing the center, and here is this now c6 is not possible. Not that it was good anyway, but it seems like the queen side is now definitely settled for in white's favor. But of course, the king side is where the real action probably will take place. a5 is securing this square for the knight, and this is actually not a bad setup. It's a pretty normal setup. White decides to fianchetto the bishop, and also making sure he will have this move. This move is a very important concept in the King's Indian. Bishop d7, knight a7, bishop e3, the e4 is no longer hanging, f5, take, and knight h4. And we see that there is there's something here, something like this. You will just take over the white squares, probably with a good position. So and maybe white is preparing f4. He's also maybe preparing queen h5 and so on. It looks natural. Queen f6 is a little bit strange. Mostly notice that something like this is probably not good due to this move, and here the white will have control over the white squares for sure. And queen h5 is coming, something like that. It looks a little bit dodgy for black. This knight is preventing any kind of attack. Anyway, queen f6, more pieces to the queen side. King h1, maybe preparing e4, or preparing to just play sometimes. There will be something in the g file, so rook g1 is maybe prepared. e4, preventing all everything with preparing this move also, and knight b5, natural move, attacking down here. It can go here where it will lurk at all the weak white squares. And there's Sadhwani, which I think I underestimated how strong he actually is jumps in immediately and attacks the rook and the b pawn. The rook goes here, and queen takes, and is ready for an exchange here. Rook b1, and this looks like well, a little bit spooky, but white is having a lot of attacking points here for the pawn. He's sacrificing, getting rid of the white square bishop, the one that's supposed to defend the king or the white squares. Queen here, bishop e7, and well, here it seems that he was getting annoyed with if the rook has to go, then this is of course a terrible thing. Queen is coming, this pawn is coming, and everything is hanging everywhere. So this is even though black's got a few pawns, it's probably not very good. So he decided to sacrifice the exchange. He does maybe get some compensation here. The a pawn is pretty strong. And this is a very unclear position. By the way, this is very typical for young players that are strong, that they play very actively. They are not just about defending; they are more about attacking and trying to see what they can do, and probably do that very well. You can also sense that talented players like these two guys are very good at energizing their pieces in sort of Azerbaijani style. They're like talking to their pieces, really trying to get the most out of them all the time, not accepting just to put something on a passive square. This is not what you want to do as an active player. Taking the pawn back, and the a pawn is running, and he's taking the pawn here. So at the moment, black is a clear exchange down, but the a-pawn is pretty dangerous, keeping pieces on the board. And also this controls this square down here. This one pins the knight because of the king behind it. a2, and white decides to go for the attack. This does threaten this move, check, and black has to be pretty careful. So after something like a2, you probably give the check, and then you probably will take the queen afterwards. Black found a nice move here. Check first, and this is something that they will generally see. Young players, they're very good at sort of getting that counterplay going at some point. So let's see here, and check. You can't take, then there's a new queen, so king d1 is necessary, and black of course will do something unpleasant here. So this looks pretty scary, right? Black is having a good time here. This pin is annoying. This is probably threatened, and the knight can jump maybe to g4 at h3, threatening mate. This is the so-called smoothed mate that black is threatening in this position, and to be honest, this does not really look good. We just switch on the evaluation bar to be sure. Here he played h4, and of course they don't have much time here. They definitely don't have much time, and this probably is winning for black. Check, makes sense. King here, and here he made a huge mistake. He took on h6. I think that's pretty hard to see that if you take with the queen, you're good. So let's see here. You get a queen, and after something like this, you can take here, and this position you have two light pieces for the exchange, and white does not have an attack, but black will probably have an attack. So I think it's safe to say that black is better here. Rook f6 is coming. They have it's maybe not winning, but it's probably clearly better. Instead he played this move, and now it's more equal. And here he made a big mistake. He has to go back, bishop d7, and we're still having a fight. I think something like this, right? Something, and maybe you should threaten something with queen a3 or something. I don't know, maybe queen c3. What happens after queen c3? And rook a8. So maybe not queen c3, maybe queen a3, and probably have to do something like this. And maybe, I don't know, something like this. Black definitely have a fine compensation here. It could probably end in a perpetual, something like this. I guess that's what the computer suggests. Anyway, that's not what he did. He took here, queen takes back, and he took the queen here, and that was and this was definitely not wrong. And here, well, it's according to computer, it's still fine for black. He just have to take on f1, and because he just got the he's got some problem with the king, but and maybe black white can get a perpetual check or get the piece back. Instead, he of course decided to keep the queen on. Looks very natural. And check, and by the way, this is very typical. They are very good at black managed to get his get a second queen. White managed to somehow keeps his attack alive. Here black had to play king h7, and he's still okay. It's actually equal according to to the computer, which is a little bit interesting. Let's see, something like I think something like this is apparently equal. If he goes here, then your this is at least fine for. There will be some checks and so on. It's probably equal as well. So that's but he didn't. He went here instead, and now it's losing, which is kind of interesting because black got a new queen here, and here Gukesh thought, oh, what with very little time on the clock, what does black do after this? And it turns out there is actually no defense now. It's completely lost, and the best move is Queen G1 check. So this was nice. He, of course, with little time, he just took here check, and now it's made next move, and white won. A very fascinating tactical issue. The thing is, these two players, Gukesh and Sadhwani, have kept on improving for a long time. And what will decide? And we can see that Gukesh, of course, is ahead. He seems to be very, very close to breaking through to the 2750 club. And one thing to notice with the talent code or the talent explained is that he has not done that by being a very strong opening theoretician. He has done it by winning the games in this fashion, in hard-fought tactical battles where he's sort of, here it was a question of instincts, and his instinct was better. There's no way with little time that in a position like this, you cannot calculate everything. It's just not possible. It's in an insane position, and it's very, very difficult to find. White has to play h3, which is the best move, and still it's better for black, but it's very unclear, and it was very hard to see. And Gukesh played h4, which I think Carlsen could also mess this position up. So it's not like this is where the thing where you really see the talent is that these guys have kept on improving for a long time. Gukesh never stopped improving, and it seems to be improving at the moment as well. So if you don't plateau, you're a really big talent. Of course, having the tactics in your fingers like this is what we usually think of when we think of talent. We think that this is what talent looks like. Like you sense that Firouzja and Gukesh and Sadhwani and these players, they just it just flows out of them with tactics they just see instantly. But of course, they trained really hard to get to this point. Of course, they're probably not dumb people. They're probably pretty smart, but it's more that they managed to keep on improving all factors of the game. That shows that they're sort of got staying power. They're not going to disappear. They're not gonna, like, you don't think that Gukesh, he might plateau at some point. This is typical. Then the interesting is, are they able to break free of this point where the sort of the development has stopped? For most players, being called a talent is actually very unhelpful, because talents is to be called a talent is like you're being promised that you will become good at something without working on it. And that's why whenever I talk to young players or try to mention them in some way, I'd say they have potential, because potential shows that they're not there yet. They have to work hard. They have to do something to get most out of their talent. So it's clear that players like Gukesh and Sadhwani have very big talents, but they have even bigger potential if they keep on working. Is Gukesh the biggest talent right now? Maybe. It's very interesting. A guy like Nordibek Abdusabarov from Uzbekistan seems to be like an amazing sporting person, which we also seen in Carlsen, has become very, very important in chess. The question is if he's got sort of the raw chess power to get up there. Like, you have to be really smart, and of course he is smart, but is he really smart? That's the big question with if his potential, or they will reach their, like, the true potential of what their talent actually might carry them. A lot of players have reached much higher than you thought they would, just by working hard. So that's sort of the go-to method you should use. And if people keep on improving, they are very hard to stop. Anyway, this was DM Talks with a little bit nerdy talk about talent. If you have not already signed up for the newsletter, now is the time. And of course, like, share, and so on. If you like GM Talks, the thing you can do for free is to actually share it. This is like it, share it, and so on. That doesn't cost you anything, and it will help the channel to grow. And maybe one day we will make some money on this channel. Anyway, this was GM Talks. I hope you enjoyed this video.